I freaking love Star Wars, but who doesn't? I mean, it's one of the greatest things to ever exist ever. So that's why I'm going to talk about video games. I mean, the movies, everybody's seen them at some point, so it would be pointless to talk about those. No, video games is what I'm going to talk about. But I'm going to talk about one that doesn't seem to get the attention that it deserves. I'm talking about Rogue Squadron 2 on the Nintendo GameCube. This game just did everything right when it first came out for me. It was the graphics, the music, the sound, the fact that you can pilot your own X-Wing and shoot down TIE fighters, you know, going through the Battle of Hoth and Yavin, tying up AT-ATs. It was the best thing ever. What helped it was the fact that it was really authentic as well. I mean, the sound effects, the music, the graphics, everything was just there. And it perfectly captured the look and feel of the movies. The first game on the Nintendo 64 also wowed people back then for how great it was, but the Nintendo GameCube's, improved processing power really showed that you could do way more with that. You could actually make it like the movies, and not just like the movies, and that's what's good about it. I mean, the authenticity is obviously the best part about this game. I mean, the graphics and music, as I already said, are top-notch. They're almost perfect.
We've got a big problem. Those AT-ATs have blasted their way out of the crash. If they get to us, we're history.
Wait a second, what?
Those AT-ATs have blasted their way out of the crash.
Come again?
Those AT-ATs...
Did he just call an AT-AT an AT-AT?
AT-AT...
He just called an AT-AT an AT-AT. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, better watch out for those AT-ATs. Those are pretty dangerous. You know, I heard those ATs are pretty dangerous as well. Or those smaller ones, those ATs. Yeah, those are pretty dangerous too. But everything else is just spot on. I mean, downright to the awesome sound the X-Wings make when they shoot stuff, or that awesome sound when the TIE fighters swoop by. It's a smile on my face every time I hear it. It's just like you would expect. But the game doesn't exclusively have levels that are based on the movies. In fact, most of them are sort of an in-between story, what happens in between 4 and 5 and 5 and 6, and sort of tries to string those together. But it doesn't really work that well. There's not really a flowing story. You never really see the characters that you're playing. It just feels like a bunch of random missions just, strung together without any rhyme or reason. Now, the gameplay matters the most, but it felt like they could have gotten way more out of it than they eventually did. But you never really find out who the other members of the Rogue Squadron are. I mean, if in a game like Star Fox you have your teammates, yeah, that might be annoying, but at least you have a picture and you can see what their name is. But here, this game doesn't have that, and that's sort of a missed opportunity in my opinion. A lot of missions pretty much boil down to, oh no, defend the transports, or oh no, bomb this thing, or protect this convoy, or whatever. But in between those, it does really have some variety in it. There's one of them where you have to steal one of those Imperial shuttles. There's one where you have to bomb a prison planet, where you get to destroy like a Star Destroyer and stuff like that. So it does it right in that opinion. I mean, it does make you do the stuff you'd want to do in a Star Wars game. It lets you blow up the Death Star. What other game lets you do that? Well, every Star Wars game ever made, but it's still fun to play, and it's still something you'd want to do in a Star Wars game. But you're not alone, of course. I mean, it is Rogue Squadron after all, part of the Rebel Alliance, so there's all these Rogue Squadron members at your disposal that you can give commands to. It's very basic, but you can tell them to form up, or break away, or attack the TIE fighters, or shoot the turrets.
Awaiting your orders, Wedge.
Help me take out those fighters.
Copy that, boss. We're going after the fighters.
Draw that surface fire away from me. Got him. Go after the guns.
And that's a really cool idea, but it never really feels like it amounts to much. So you can tell them to attack the TIE fighters, but it looks like you're just flying around, like you have to do everything yourself. It would be nice if they were a little more useful, instead of just cannon fodder for TIE fighters. So it's all up to you. Luckily there's some hidden upgrades lying around that you can use to make your ship better. But when I was playing through the game, I didn't find even one. I mean, these are difficult to find, or anything but in plain sight. But even harder to get are the medals. By fulfilling certain conditions in each level, you can get a medal from bronze, silver, and gold. But man, I mean, the requirements for these are insane. Usually I can get most of them, but then there's stuff like targeting computer efficiency, which always amounts to 0% when I play. 0%? Really? They couldn't even give me 0.5% for just trying? The chance of successfully getting a gold medal in this game is 3,720 to 1. Okay, maybe not that hard, but it is pretty challenging. But considering this is a GameCube game in the era before online and achievements, you can just input cheat codes to unlock all the secret vehicles and levels. You can even play as a Naboo starfighter from the episode 1. Yeah, that makes a lot of people happy. This is one of my favorite GameCube games ever. Probably even one of my favorite games in general, like of all time. It really puts me back to that point when you were a kid and you know, watching Star Wars, you're like, oh, I want to be like Luke Skywalker flying around. It actually let you do that. But they made a sequel, but I always wondered why they didn't go further than that. Like, why they didn't make more? Well, it turns out they actually did. First of all, the developer Factor 5 wanted to develop a sort of trilogy on the original Xbox. They actually made it about halfway through, then it got canceled. Then they tried to make another one called Rogue Squadron X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter on the Xbox 360. Guess what? It got canceled. Finally, they tried to do that trilogy concept again on the Wii, which they actually finished. Yeah, it was 100% done. It wasn't like, oh, it's just partially done. No, they finished that game. But it got canceled. You mean all this time I could have gotten 3 Rogue Squadron games, but all of them got canceled in some form or another? I mean, recently some images leaked from that Rogue Squadron Wii game. I mean, it looked decent. I mean, yeah, the lightsaber doing looked kind of crappy and tacked on. But hey, it would have been great to play those games again, especially with, you know, widescreen. But, you know, whatever. Probably never get my Rogue Squadron 4. I'm gonna get my fix in Star Wars Battlefront though, because they're gonna add that new Fighter Squadron mode, which sort of sounds like Rogue Squadron, so I guess that's okay. I played it, and it's actually pretty good. So until then, it will tie me over until I get a true sequel to Rogue Squadron. Will it happen someday? Who knows? But anyway, this is a game you should definitely check out. If you got a GameCube lying around or a Wii, this is a game you should definitely not skip. It's not an expensive game, it's not rare or anything, you can get it everywhere. It's for every Star Wars fan, this is a dream come true. It's one of the best games on the GameCube. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, you know, give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to our channel. There's more really cool stuff coming. We're planning some awesome stuff. Watch our Let's Plays, watch our other reviews, whatever. And I'll see you guys on the next Super Roasted Turkey video. Take care.